Today to talk about PTSD. I've got some experience about 50 years, as far back as I can remember. I was abused as an infant. You know, I was abused so I could defend myself. Then I became a United States Marine, and they really they polished me off pretty much. They taught me how to kill without regret, just based on orders. They taught me how to be insanely menacing to people. And they never taught me anything different when they threw me back out into the world. PTSD is not just about the person who has it. It destroys everything around them. It destroys everyone they know and everyone they love. It destroys the person. It's not just a mental disorder, it's a physical disorder. You can't sleep, you can't rest, you can't recover, you can't do anything without your disease. It's with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're not going to stop people from smoking marijuana who have PTSD. And that's not Joe Cain saying that. That's the National Library of Medicine. 40% of us are going to smoke marijuana, regardless. So what you're really voting on, when you vote no, you're going to be voting to put us in jail. Because I'm going to tell you something, I'm not going to register for your program, again, until every single vet can register to be medical marijuana patients. That's how we roll. We work together. We will never leave anybody behind. The facts are this. People who have PTSD, they do violent things. They've been trained to do violent things in many cases. But the really sad fact is, and what people don't hear, is people with PTSD are 25 times more likely to have violence done against them, especially women who have PTSD. The numbers are chilling. What happens to a woman when she has PTSD? There is no bottom. There is no bottom. People, when they medicate with medical marijuana, and I see this every day. I see it every day because I run the Jackson Farmers Market, the single busiest spot in the state, and I am there 7 days a week. I know the PTSD patients. I talk to them. They have regular lives. They actually work jobs. They have families. They're normal. You can't tell any difference between them and anybody else on the street. Someone who is being treated with prescription drugs. These drugs that they say help you, they are chemical lobotomies. What they do is help you go sit in the corner and do nothing. You're no better off. You are no better off. Only the people around you are better off because you can't do anything. When someone uses medical marijuana, they can have a regular social life. They can have gainful employment. They can have a family. Because what happens with PTSD is you lose that family. These guys, the numbers are incredible. I couldn't believe you voted no. Jesus. 31% of Vietnam veterans, 31% of Vietnam veterans have PTSD, have been diagnosed. 10% of Gulf War. And the numbers, the thing with PTSD, people don't come out and say, hey everybody, I got PTSD. It doesn't work that way. They have to eventually come in for help. So these numbers will grow. 11% of the vets out of Afghanistan have PTSD. 20% of Iraqi war veterans have PTSD, and that doesn't count the countless rape victims. People like me who were brutalized as a child, defenseless children who develop PTSD. What you're doing is you're condemning them to a life of hell. Hell. That's what it is. Your worst fear replaying every single day of your life. Your worst fear, and you have no control. You do not have the ability to stop it. It will be there waiting for you. Marijuana interrupts that cycle. Plain and simple. All the Clonopins and Valiums and Xanaxes and the antidepressant du jour, the antipsychotics, they don't do anything to stop that cycle. You have a person who is comatose with PTSD, and that's all you have. So, if you vote no, this is the deal. You'll be responsible for everything that happens past that point. Every single PTS guy who finally has had enough and picks up his weapon and goes out and caps somebody because you were giving him value. But he didn't have the opportunity to try us. We'll take the responsibility on the other side. I don't know of any medical marijuana patient who will pick up a weapon and go after anybody else. I've never seen it. I've been around marijuana since I was 15 years old. And I've never seen anybody burn a joint and go out and cap somebody. It doesn't happen. That won't be the reason. Every single woman who gets slapped around by her husband coming back from the war because they didn't have the opportunity to try this medicine, that'll be on you. That's the decision. And finally, and this is a big one for me, since 40% of us are going to use marijuana anyway, what you're really voting on is whether to throw us in jail or not. And that's the truth. Nothing else, whether you agree with medical marijuana or not, has no bearing. What you're voting on is whether you're going to imprison us for using it, because we're going to use it. And I'm willing to go to jail for it, and I bet you every one of the vets will do the same thing. But I'd ask you for your consideration, and I'd ask you to, when you start to vote on this, really consider about what you're doing. You're not voting on whether you agree with medical marijuana, or whether you think medical marijuana will help us. You're voting on whether you're going to put us in jail or not when we use it. Thank you very much.